Hello there and welcome to this video on the PolyMAT Central Services offer. We're really delighted to have been shortlisted by the MAT Finance Awards for the system that we've put in place to ensure we're getting the best value for money from our central services. And in this presentation we're going to talk through how we do that and why we've been shortlisted for that award and how the whole system works. So let's get started. So yeah, we've been shortlisted as part of the MAT Finance Award for the Finance Project of the Year, and we'll be finding out how we got on with that nomination this evening on the 15th of December. So hopefully by the time you watch this video we'll know whether we've been successful, but it's just an honour to have been shortlisted in the first place, so we're really happy that our work has been recognised. So in terms of the services that we've got at PolyMAT, currently we've got what we call our PolyMAT Central Services. These are services that we have developed over the last year or so. We have got data, finance, HR, which is more the HR administration side of things, IT support, premises and retrographics. There are 6 central services that we use at the Trust currently. And each of those gets reviewed via the process that we're going to talk about. We're also expanding our offer for the schools in the Trust, and our next one to partially come online is to do with the central contracts. We currently have catering and cleaning as part of our central contracts, and they get reviewed in the same way as our central services, and we will be adding the same functionality for the legal contracts, payroll, software licensing and utilities. And then we have the school improvement team, and this currently we're focused on the learning and teaching aspect of this, but all these other areas will come online shortly as well. So curriculum, initial teacher training and early career teachers, literacy and numeracy, behaviour and pastoral care. So all of these areas will come online and be judged in the same way for value for money. So each of the services is regularly evaluated by us as a trust and by the schools that use the services, and we do that through a process of what we call circular accountability. And that's broken down into three parts. The first is a user satisfaction survey which gets completed periodically. At the moment we do that once each term, so 3 times per year, and all staff across the Trust, regardless of their role, are asked to feedback on the service, and we'll talk about that a bit more in a moment. We also have a review of the service against an agreed rubric that we have put together for each service, and that's reviewed by a review panel which includes the lead for that service. So for instance, for IT, it's the Trust Network Manager who fills it in, so more like a self-evaluation at that stage, but also by the leaders in each school, the Trust leaders, and various other people who are heavily involved in that particular service. So they do an evaluation every term, and then we meet, that's the final bit there, we meet to review both the survey results and the criteria. We discuss the feedback that we've been provided with, and we agree some actions for what will happen for the next review. So the user satisfaction surveys include a question for each of the services that we provide, which is using the NetPromoterScore methodology. And essentially what that means is that all staff are asked to answer a single question, which is how satisfied are you with the service provided by, and then whatever the service is, so IT support, premises, etc. Then staff respond to that question on a scale of 0, very dissatisfied, to 10, very satisfied. And any member of staff who gives a response of 9 or 10 is considered a promoter. and a score of 0 to 6 is considered a detractor. You can then see that there is a formula. This is a common formula that's used for calculating Net Promoter Score, which is the percentage of respondents who are promoters, subtract the percentage of respondents who are detractors, and that gives you the Net Promoter Score. So if you are interested, we use Microsoft Forms for our surveys, and you can see that there is a Net Promoter Score question that is used in Microsoft Forms, and the example there is how likely you to recommend us to a friend or colleague. That's quite a standard NPS question, but you can add any question you like into a Microsoft Forms survey using NPS. So here's a bit of a worked example. So how satisfied are you with the service provided by whichever service it is? And you can see here that we've got 2 red detractors, we've got 2 yellow neutrals, and we've got 6 green promoters. And what that means is there are 60% promoters and 20% detractors. So if we perform that formula, this would give an overall score of plus 0.4 or plus 40% as a score for this particular service. Now, according to the founders of NPS, Bain and Company, an NPS score above 0 is considered good, and above a score above 50 is considered exceptional. So we utilise those when we're judging each service. We use Microsoft Power BI to analyse the data that comes in from those surveys. So here you can see a collection of the different services and the judgments that they received in a recent review, and you can see that we're using those colours, which you can see in the graph on the right hand side. So exceptional is the purple colour, good is green, requires improvement is orange, and unsatisfactory is red, and that's based upon the different scores. So in Power BI we can compare one service against another. We can compare how one school feels about a service compared to another school, to ensure that all schools are getting an equal level of service from each of the shared services. And we can also see over time how that service is performing. So the example on the right is the Human Resources Service, and is showing how that has improved over time. We are using NPS more widely than just this process as well. So we are working on using NPS to get staff satisfaction across the trust, parent satisfaction, and student satisfaction. The sort of image there on the right is just an example from that I got off the internet that shows various companies and their NPS scores, and we'd love to be able to do something similar with other trusts. So if you're interested in using NPS, using this kind of approach, and sharing your NPS scores with us, and we can share with you to build this kind of ability to benchmark and see how well we're doing, we're very interested in that, and we'd love to hear from schools and trusts who would be willing to collaborate in that way. The survey as well asks some follow-up questions. So what is the primary reason for your score, and how can we make your experience better? And that gives us lots of qualitative data which we can then discuss in the review meetings and act upon. So we then perform the review against criteria, as I mentioned. So all those different members of the panel will go through each of the criteria. So for instance, this is the IT support criteria that you can see on screen. So we've got response time, resolutions time, and so on. And there is a rubric that shows, for each one, what unsatisfactory means, what requires improvement means, and so on. So each member of the panel will make a judgment on where that service lies, based upon their experience of that service. We use a product called iAbacus to do that collaboratively. So essentially, each of the panel members logs onto iAbacus, and they drag a bead into the position that they want to judge that service. So you can see on the response time there, each of those beads is a different person's judgment on response time. So you can see there's 2 people who said that it's sort of top end of good, and then you've got 5 people there who have judged it to be exceptional. So that's how we do this. It's all blind, so the people who are doing the review don't see each other's scores until we get to the review meeting stage. But that's what happens. Everyone uses iAbacus to pull the beads into position. They can also add evidence at that point, justification for where they have placed those beads. We then have a review meeting using Microsoft Teams. I mean, in part that's to do with the pandemic and the fact that it's much safer to meet via Teams than it is to meet in person. However, it's worked really well for us, and as we grow as a trust, it will probably be the way we continue to do it, because it's much easier to get people together in online meetings than it is to have to book a room and to get people to transport themselves to different schools in the trust. So using a Teams meeting helps us be much more efficient with our time. And in that meeting we'll discuss the actions, so we discuss all of the NPS survey feedback, we discuss all the judgments that have been made on the iAbacus rubric, and we agree some actions that we're going to take before the next review period. And this is the kind of thing that we do in terms of feeding back to staff. So we say, this is what you said in the survey, or this is what came out of the panel review, and this is what we're doing about it. So each service lead will put that together, and this gets shared with the entire staff body, also gets shared with trustees, and is something that we'd like to be even more transparent about, to really show what our system does and how valued all of our central services, central contracts, etc. are. So that gives you a bit of an overview of the circular accountability system that we use for central services at PolyMAT. As I say, we're delighted that this has been nominated for one of the MAT Finance Awards. We look forward to hearing the result of that. But if you're interested in more information about this, please do get in touch. You can also use our YouTube channel. You can take me off the screen so you can see that better. So our YouTube channel is tinyurl.com/polymatvideos, and you can follow us on Twitter at PolyMatSchools. Please do get in touch if we can help in any way. Thank you for watching.